everyone. Ever thought the union budget is boring? Think again. It's like the Avengers of finance. Every decision affects the entire economy. Whether you're a student, a business owner, or a retiree, this budget has something for everyone. Let's dive into what matters most for you. Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman presented the Union Budget 2025-26 in the Parliament on February 1st. Our Union Budget consists of two parts, Part A and Part B. Part A contains the major investments by the government, whereas Part B contains the taxes that people pay the government, which means Part A is the expenditure and Part B is the income to the government. Quoting a Telugu poet, Sri Gurujada Apparau's famous saying, "A country is not just its soil, a country is its people." The finance minister presented the union budget with the theme Sabka Vikas, stimulating balanced growth of all regions. The budget aims to initiate transformative reforms in taxation, power sector, urban development, mining, financial sector, and regulatory reforms to augment India's growth potential and global competitiveness. Union budget highlights that agriculture, MSME, investment and exports are engines in the journey to Vikasit Bharat using reforms as fuel, guided by the spirit of inclusivity. Talking about the first engine of the development, agriculture. Budget announced Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana in partnership with the state covering 100 districts to increase productivity, adopt crop diversification, augment post harvest storage, and improve irrigation facilities and facilitate availability of long term and short term credits. A comprehensive multi sectoral rural prosperity and resilience program will be launched in partnership with the states to address underemployment in agriculture through skilling, investment, technology in the rural economy. The goal is to generate ample opportunities in rural areas with focus on rural women, young farmers, rural youth, marginal and small farmers, and landless families. Union Finance Minister announced that the government will launch a 6-year mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses with special focus on tur, urad, and masoor dals. Central agencies NAFED and NCCF will be ready to procure these three pulses as much as offered during the next 4 years from farmers. The budget has outlined measures to comprehensive programs for vegetables and fruits, national mission on high yielding seeds, and a 5-year mission for cotton productivity, amongst other measures, to promote agriculture and allied activities in a major way. Srimati Sitharaman announced that increase in loans from limit has increased from 3 lakh to 5 lakh for loans taken through Kisan credit cards under modified interest subvention scheme. Now talking about the each program in detail. The first one being Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana Developing Agri District Program. As discussed earlier, this program is to be launched in partnership with the states, covering 100 districts with low productivity, moderate crop intensity, and below average credit parameters to benefit around 1.7 crore farmers. Next program is Building Rural Prosperity and Resilience, a comprehensive multi sectoral program to be launched in partnership with the states to address underemployment in agriculture through skilling, investment, and technology in rural economy. In this program, in phase 1, it aimed to cover around 100 developing agri districts. Next program is Atmanirbharta in Pulses. As discussed, government to launch a 6-year mission for Atmanirbharta in Pulses with focus on tur, urad, and masoor dals. Next program being comprehensive program for vegetables and fruits. A comprehensive program to promote production, efficient supplies, processing, and remunerative prices for farmers to be launched in partnership with the states. Next one being Makana Board in Bihar. A Makana Board to be established to improve production, processing, value addition, and marketing of the Makana. National Mission on High Yielding Seeds. A national mission on high yielding seeds to be launched aiming at strengthening the research ecosystem, targeted development, and propagation of seeds with high yield and commercial availability of more than 100 seed varieties. Next, fisheries. Government to bring a framework for sustainable harnessing of fisheries from Indian exclusive economic zones and high seas with a special focus on the Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands. Next program being Mission for Cotton Productivity. A 5-year mission announced to facilitate significant improvements in productivity and sustainability of the cotton farming and promote extra long staple cotton varieties. Next one is enhanced credit through KCC. A loan limit under the modified interest subvention scheme to be enhanced from 3 lakh to 5 lakh for loan taken through KCC. The last one being urea plant in Assam. A plant with the annual capacity of 12.7 lakh metric tons to be set up at Namrup in Assam. Our next engine of development is MSMEs. Let's see the various projects and programs under this. Finance Minister described MSMEs as the second power engine for development as they constitute for 45% of our exports. To help MSMEs achieve higher efficiencies of scale, technological upgradation and better access to capital, the investment in turnover limitations for classification of all MSMEs enhanced to 2.5 and 2 times respectively. Further, steps to enhance credit availability with guarantee cover have also been announced. The Finance Minister also announced the launch of a new scheme for 5 lakh women, scheduled castes, and scheduled tribes first time entrepreneurs. This will provide a term loan of up to 2 crore during the next 5 years. Srimati Sitaraman also announced that the government will also implement a scheme to make India a global hub for toys representing the Made in India brand. She added that the government will set up a national manufacturing mission covering small, medium, and large scale industries for further Make in India. Defining investment as a third engine of growth, the Union Minister prioritized investment in people, economy, and innovation. Let's discuss each of them. Under the investment in people, she announced that 50,000 Atal Tinkering Labs will be set up in government schools in the next 5 years. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman announced that broadband connectivity will be provided to all government secondary schools and primary health centers in rural areas under the BharatNet program. She said Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak scheme will be implemented to provide digital form Indian language books for school and higher education. 5 national centers of excellence for skilling will be set up in global expertise and partnership to equip our youth with the skills required for Make for India, Make for the World manufacturing. A center of excellence in artificial intelligence for education will be set up with a total outlay of 500 crore. Budget announced that government will arrange for gig workers identity cards, their registrations on the e-Shram portal and healthcare under PM Jan Arogya Yojana. Under the investment in economy, Srimati Sitaraman said manufacture related to ministries will come up with 3-year pipeline of projects in PPP mode. She added that an outlay of 1.5 lakh crore was proposed for the 50-year interest-free loans to states for capital expenditure and incentives for reforms. Now talking about the investment in economy. Under the investment in economy, Srimati Sitaraman said infrastructure related ministries will come up with a 3-year pipeline of projects in public private partnership mode. She added that an outlay of rupees 1.5 lakh crore was proposed for the 50-year interest free loans to states for capital expenditure and incentives for reforms. She also announced the second asset monetization plan 2025-30 to plough back capital of rupees 10 lakh crore in new projects. The Jal Jeevan mission was extended till 2028 with focus on the quality of infrastructure and operation and maintenance of rural piped water supply schemes through Jan Bhagirathi. Government will set up an urban challenge fund of rupees 1 lakh crore to implement the proposal for cities as growth hubs, creative redevelopment cities, and water and sanitization. Talking about the investment in innovation. Under the investment in innovation, an allocation of 20,000 crore is announced to implement private sector driven research, development and innovation initiative. Finance Minister proposed National Geospatial Mission to develop foundational geospatial infrastructure and data which will benefit urban planning. Budget proposes Gyan Bharatam mission for survey, documentation and conservation of more than 1 crore manuscripts with academic institutions, museums, libraries and private collectors. A national digital repository of Indian knowledge system for knowledge sharing is also proposed. Now talking about the fourth engine of growth, which is the exports. Srimati Sitaraman defines exports as the fourth engine of growth and said that jointly driven by the Ministries of Commerce, MSME and Finance, export promotion mission will help MSMEs tap into the export market. She added that the digital public infrastructure Bharat Trade Net for international trade was proposed as a unified platform for trade documentation and financing solutions. The finance minister mentioned that support will be provided to develop domestic manufacturing capacities for our economy's integration with global supply chains. She also announced that government will support the domestic electronic equipment industry for leveraging the opportunities related to Industry 4.0. A national framework has also been proposed for promoting global capability centers in emerging Tier 2 cities. The government will facilitate upgradation of infrastructure and warehousing for air cargo, including high value perishable horticulture produce. Next, we have to talk about the reforms. Defining reforms as the fuel to the engine, Srimati Sitaraman said that over the past 10 years, the government had implemented several reforms for the convenience of the taxpayers. Continuing with these efforts, she reaffirmed the commitment of the tax department to trust first and scrutinize later. In a demonstrated committee of the government towards ease of doing business, the Union Finance Minister proposed changes across the length and breadth of the financial landscape in India to ease expand services, build strong regulatory environment, promote international and domestic investment, and decriminalization of legal provisions. The Union Finance Minister proposed to raise the foreign direct investment FDI limit for the insurance from 74 to 100% to be available for those companies that invest the entire premium in India. Srimati Sitaraman proposed a light touch regulatory framework based on principles and trust to unleash productivity and employment. She proposed four specific measures to develop this modern, flexible, people friendly, and trust based regulatory framework for the 21st century. The first one being High Level Committee for Regulatory Reforms. This is to review all non financial sector regulations, certifications, licenses, and permissions to strengthen trust based economic governance and make transformational measures to enhance ease of doing business, especially in matters of inspections and compliances, to make recommendations within a year, and also states will be encouraged to be onboarded. The second framework will be Investment Friendliness Index of the States. An investment friendliness index of the states will be launched in 2025 to further the spirit of competitive cooperative federalism. The third one being Mechanism under the Financial Stability and Development Council. Mechanism to evaluate impact of the current financial regulations and subsidiary instructions to formulate a framework to enhance their responsiveness and development of the financial sector. The fourth regulatory framework being Jan Viswas Bill 2.0 to decriminalize more than 100 provisions in various laws. So far, Part A, which is the investments and reforms by the government, are covered. Now, talking about the taxation. To run the government and manage the affairs of the state, money is required. So, the government imposes tax in many forms on the incomes of the individuals and companies. This is the taxation system. The taxation system in India is such that the taxes are levied by the central government and state governments. Some minor taxes are also levied by the local authorities, such as the municipality and the local governments. The taxes are broadly classified as direct tax and indirect tax. A direct tax can be defined as a tax that is paid directly by an individual or organization to the imposing entity, which is generally the government. A direct tax cannot be shifted to another individual or entity. The individual or organization upon which tax is levied is responsible for the fulfillment of the tax payment. A taxpayer pays a direct tax to the government for different purposes, including real property tax, personal property tax, income tax, or taxes on assets, FBT, gift tax, capital gains tax, etc. Whereas indirect taxes is a term that is more than one meaning. In a sense, an indirect tax, such as the sales tax, a specific tax, a value added tax, or a goods and service tax, is a tax collected by an intermediary, such as a retail store, from a person who bears the ultimate economic burden of the tax, such as the consumer. The intermediary later files a tax return and forwards the tax proceeds to the government with the return. In this sense, the term indirect tax is contrasted with the direct tax, which is collected directly by the government from the person on which it is imposed. Talking about the direct tax, reposing faith on middle class in nation building, the Union Budget 2025-26 proposes new direct tax slabs and rates under the new income tax regime so that no income tax is needed to be paid for the total income of up to 12 lakh per annum, that is average income of rupees 1 lakh per month. Towards the new tax structure and other direct tax proposals, government is set to lose the revenue of about 1 lakh crore rupees. To rationalize TDS or TCS, budget doubles limit for tax deduction on interest earned by senior citizens from the present 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees. Further, TDS threshold on rent has been increased to 6 lakh rupees from 2.4 lakh rupees per annum. Encouraging voluntary compliances, budget extends time limit to file updated returns for any assessment year from the current limit of 2 years to 4 years. For ease of doing business, budget introduces a scheme for determining arm's length price of international transaction for a block period of 3 years. This is in line with global best practices. Further, safe harbor rules are being expanded to provide certainty in international taxation. Now, talking about the indirect taxes. As part of rationalization of customs tariff of industrial goods, budget proposes to remove 7 tariffs, apply appropriate cess to maintain effective duty incidence, and levy not more than one cess or surcharge. As relief on import drugs or medicines, 36 life saving drugs and medicines for treating cancer, rare diseases, and chronic diseases have been fully exempted from basic customs duty. Further, 37 medicines, along with 30 new drugs and medicines under patient assistance program, have been exempted from basic customs duty if supplied free to patients. To support domestic manufacturing and value addition, BCD on 25 critical minerals were not domestically available were exempted in July 2024. The budget 2025-26 fully exempts cobalt powder and waste, scrap of lithium ion battery, lead, zinc, and 12 more critical minerals. For export promotion, budget 2025-26 facilitates export of handicrafts fully exempted BCD on wet blue leather for value addition and employment. Further, BCD from 30% to 5% on frozen fish paste and reduce BCD from 15% to 5% on fish hydrolysis for manufacture of fish and shrimp feeds. Finally, the Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, said that democracy, demography, and demand are the key pillars of Vikasit Bharat journey. She said that the middle class gives strength to India's growth, and the government had periodically hiked the nil tax slab in recognition to their contribution. She said the proposed new tax structure will substantially boost consumption, savings, and investments by putting more money in the hands of the middle class. Finally, to conclude, the Union Budget 2025-26 sets a forward looking agenda for India's growth, focusing on fiscal discipline, targeted tax relief, and sectoral investments aimed at boosting economic resilience. By prioritizing agriculture, MSMEs, infrastructure, and sustainable energy, the government is laying the groundwork for inclusive development and long term prosperity. With a careful balance between encouraging private investments, easing the tax burden on the middle class, and fostering innovations, this budget is poised to drive India's economic transformation in the coming year. As we move forward, the real test will be the execution and impact of these ambitious initiatives. Well, that's the union budget for this year. Remember, the budget is like a diet plan. It looks great on paper, but the real challenge is sticking to it. Let's hope this doesn't end up like my New Year resolution. Thanks